I'm proud to introduce you to our next president who will help Levittown bloom again. Ladies and gentlemen, Barack Obama.
Well, I'm confident about my ability to lead this country, but I can't do it by myself. You've got to be involved. It's not just voting for me. You've got to want it, and you've got to put pressure on members of Congress. You've got to put pressure on me when I'm president to make sure that we're accountable. I am inspired by history. When I think about the history of America, that inspires me. I'm a big history buff. And when I read about the founding fathers who started this country, basically, when the odds were so far against them, and they developed a new country that was based on the idea that the people were what mattered, that this was a government of and by and for the people. That inspires me. All right. Let's see. Gentleman right there.
She's afraid I'm going to keep the microphone. Senator, thank you very much for coming. And, you know, I used to teach at Punahou School.
Is that right?
Hawaii, yeah.
How long did you teach there?
Just about a year. I taught PE there.
That's my alma mater.
That's right.
Pretty nice weather, isn't it?
So, aloha. Yes, absolutely. Beautiful. But actually, speaking about this and speaking about the kids, and I also make documentaries for the History Channel, so I'm, you know, very much in touch with history and the importance of it. I look at all these kids, and I tell you, it breaks my heart to think that we can be so afraid to go to school today because of gun violence. And I know it's a very controversial and a very difficult topic that no politician wants to touch because it's gun control is not a very popular topic. But I know you're a very courageous man, the most courageous one standing today. That's why you're still standing. So I guess I'm asking you, can you, between just you and us here, we won't tell, can you tell what you have in mind for gun control for America?
Well, you know, I've been very consistent on my position on this. I believe that the Second Amendment gives people the right to bear arms legally for hunting and sportsmanship and for protecting their household. And there is a tradition of gun ownership in this country that I don't have a problem with at all. In fact, I think it is something that people value and care about very deeply, and they do here in the state of Pennsylvania. But there's also, in addition to that reality, the other reality which you spoke about, which is kids getting shot or shooting each other because of illegal handguns that have ended up on the streets. And I just think that we should be able to come up with a common sense approach that preserves those traditions of gun ownership, but also deals with violence. And that means making sure that our background checks actually work. They don't right now the way they should. So we've seen on college campuses, time and again, people with serious mental health problems are somehow able to get guns because we don't have a good enough background check system. People with mental health problems, children, those with criminal records, they shouldn't be able to buy guns. That's number one. Number two, we should be able to trace guns that are used in crimes to the gun dealers where they were purchased. Because there are a lot of legal gun dealers, but you've got a lot of unscrupulous ones that will sell to what's called straw purchasers, people who really are going to fill up their van with guns and suddenly dump them in the middle of urban communities. And we've got to crack down on some of that. We've got to close the gun show loophole, which allows people to sell guns at gun shows without a background check. That's a problem. So I think there are a number of common sense gun laws that we can put in place that don't contradict the Second Amendment or traditions of gun ownership. Now, one other point I want to make, though, and that is that we have to also look at some of the underlying causes of violence, particularly in urban communities. Because if kids start off school behind, if they are functionally illiterate, if they drop out of school, if they don't see a future for themselves, if the only role models they see on the streets are drug dealers, if they've got no father in the home, then that creates an atmosphere in which violence starts becoming more acceptable. It seems normal to people. And that is something that we're going to have to change. We've got to transform. And that's why it's so important to invest in early childhood education, to close the achievement gap so kids are ready when they start school. It means after-school programs and summer school programs so that kids who don't have the benefit of summer camp or a nice home where they can quietly do their homework, that they've got someplace to go that's safe. It means that we should work with young people starting as early as 8th grade or 9th grade. Not everybody's going to go to a 4-year college. So if we can get young people and we can connect what they're doing in the classroom to the future jobs, if they've got artistic skills, you know, having them apprentice with a graphic designer. If they've got manual skills, having them apprentice in terms of potentially joining a trade where they can make a good living. You know, that kind of approach also keeps young people engaged. There's one last ingredient, though, that you can't replace, and that is parents have to parent. So I think it's very important. I think it's very important for parents have to turn off the TV set, put away the video game, read to your kids, make sure they're doing their homework, discipline your kids. If your child gets in trouble at school, don't curse out the teacher. Right? So, you know, I mean, government can't do everything. Government cannot do everything. All right.